Hello, everybody. I'm Ed Robinson, and welcome to another exciting edition of Striving for It All. This is the program that gets you caught up on anything and everything happening around the WNBA. Coming up on this edition of the program, a lot to catch up on, give you a recap of the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris involving Team USA 5-on-5 and 3x3 action. And, of course, we have your current league leaders standings and the week's upcoming games as we get you ready for the second half of the WNBA season. So, fresh off of coming off the Olympic break, a lot of developing news. We have a developing story involving not just one of my favorite players, but one of the WNBA's premier players in Dearica Hamby. When you think about a player like Dearica Hamby, you think of someone that's a two-time winner of the WNBA Sixth Woman of the Year award, a three-time WNBA All-Star, and recently winning a bronze medal at the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris as a part of the 3x3 team, a last-minute replacement to Cameron Brink. Well, Dearica, when she won those two WNBA Sixth Woman of the Year awards, she was a member of the Las Vegas Aces, and there was chemistry. There was a lot of chemistry on that team involving with Dearica, like the likes of Asia Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray. Also, Candace Parker was on that team. So, again, a lot of success. And it seemed to be as though Dearica would be there for the long haul. After all, she did sign a contract extension. Well, as the old saying goes, you never know what goes on behind closed doors. So recently, Dearica has filed a lawsuit, a federal lawsuit against the WNBA and the Las Vegas Aces. On this lawsuit, it's the basis of workplace harassment. Hamby in the lawsuit claims that the Las Vegas Aces traded her because she was pregnant, and also the league did not fully investigate the matter. So let's rewind this a little, rewind this back a little bit and fully go into context, and I'll try to break it down as best as I can in layman's terms on how we came to this point. So Dearica Hamby and the Las Vegas Aces, they win the WNBA championship in 2022. Also in that same year, Hamby signed a multi-year contract extension with the Aces. That extension was signed on June the 29th of 2022. Later in that year, that same year, Hamby, along with her former team, the Las Vegas Aces, they won the 2022 WNBA championship. All right, let's fast forward to January of 2023. Dearica's traded to the Los Angeles Sparks alongside a 2024 first-round pick in exchange for a 2024 WNBA draft second-round pick in Amanda Zawi B. All right, let's fast forward to the middle part of the year, right around the fall of 2023. Hamby files an investigation against the Las Vegas Aces, citing workplace harassment. There were, now again, these are allegations now. Nothing is etched in stone. These are just allegations in the lawsuit that Hamby had, stating that she was treated improperly because she was pregnant, and also there's also some other things that have happened in terms of her and Aces head coach Becky Hammond. There was a conversation where there were claims that Coach Hammond said that she wasn't living up to her full potential, and this could have used precautionary measures. And this was the first investigation, the WNBA, to this. The first lawsuit was against the Las Vegas Aces. The WNBA looked into the matter in the first investigation, and it was reported. According to the first investigation, it was reported that 33 personnel members were interviewed from the Las Vegas Aces. We don't know who those 33 members are. According to the latest lawsuit that has just been released, which I'll get more into detail in just a little bit. But long story short, the WNBA conducted a league-wide investigation. Coach Becky Hammond for the Aces was suspended for the first 2 games of the 2023 WNBA season without pay, and also the Aces would be forced to give up a first-round draft pick in the 2025 draft. All right, so that was the deal with the WNBA investigation. Let's move over now to the recent news, the developing story that Dearica has launched a federal lawsuit, not only against the Las Vegas Aces, but against the WNBA, again, for the same matters such as workplace harassment and also other things that have come about in this lawsuit. Now, I'm not going to go over the lawsuit in detail, but if you want to read it in full context, the whole 18 pages of the lawsuit, you can click in the description box. But Dearica has filed a lawsuit. She's currently a member of the Los Angeles Sparks, and she's filed a lawsuit against the Las Vegas Aces and the WNBA for workplace harassment that includes intimidation and retaliation for Dearica becoming pregnant. And there's a lot of things that are in this lawsuit, such as Dearica contract that she had with the Aces. The Aces entitled her to, that included team-provided housing, also paid tuition for her daughter's private school. And there's also a lot of things that are interesting. Now, again, this is not true. These are allegations that are in the lawsuit. So also there's some other things in the lawsuit, such as I aforementioned earlier, about the Aces taking away a team-provided housing and paid tuition for her daughter Amaya's private school. Of course, in the lawsuit, it goes more into detail about, as far as the team-provided housing is concerned, Amaya would stay in the team-provided housing whenever the Aces would be on road games, and also the private school would be available for Amaya according to the stipulations that were in place in the contract. I'm also going to go more into detail of some of the interesting meat and potatoes that are in this lawsuit. Dearica mentioned in the lawsuit, along with her attorney, that in addition to having the team-provided housing taken away and the tuition not being paid for her daughter's private school education, there was also reports of her daughter Amaya being left out of a championship video or a package when the Aces won the title in 2022. There's also reports that Dearica said that she missed out on endorsement deals, opportunities to make money, not just locally in the Las Vegas area, but also even with national endorsement deals as well. And again, there's also in the lawsuit that Aces head coach Becky Hammon, it's alleged that Coach Hammon had really talked down to her and really chastised her and criticized her for getting pregnant. Now, according to the lawsuit, the two spoke on the phone. Hammon accused her of not taking the proper precautions to get pregnant, or to not get pregnant, and Hamby told her the pregnancy wasn't planned. And then it was also in the lawsuit that Coach Hammon allegedly questioned Hamby's commitment and dedication to the team. But it goes into detail in the lawsuit in terms of what I just mentioned about Hamby's commitment and dedication being questioned to the team. The attorney that's representing Dearica, it says that Dearica, during the pregnancy, maintained her workouts. She participated in staying in shape by doing basketball workouts as well as calisthenics and Pilates routines. That's how she stayed in shape during her pregnancy, which she later would have another child. And I believe that the child's name, if I'm not mistaken, his name is Legend. So while she was pregnant with Legend at the time, she was still participating in workouts, doing basketball workouts as well as Pilates, and also I believe she was doing calisthenics workouts. So also in the lawsuit, it says that Coach Hammon allegedly told Dearica that she did not hold up her end of the bargain by getting pregnant a second time. This is just a lot of things that have really developed in this lawsuit right here. And again, if you want to read it in full detail and full context, you can click on the link in the description box. Now, there's also some things that I would like to pass along in regards to this new federal lawsuit involving Dearica Hamby. As I stated earlier, when the first lawsuit was filed in September of last year, the WNBA did an investigation, and it was reported that 33 members of Las Vegas Aces personnel were said to be interviewed. We don't know the 33 members of that Aces personnel, and the new lawsuit that has come out still has not revealed the 33 names that were interviewed during the league-wide investigation. So Hammond got the punishment, suspended for the first 2 games of last year without pay. Also, a draft pick, a first-round draft pick, would be taken away for the 2025 WNBA draft. So, again, Hamby taking legal action again with the federal lawsuit, disappointed with how the league handled the matter. And again, this is not true. This is all alleged. This is allegedly, but again, there's an 18-page lawsuit where it goes really into detail. Hamby is alleging that she had endorsements taken away. Also, again, being harassed for being pregnant, not just from head coach Becky Hammond, but it's also alleged that this harassment took place in the Aces front office through general manager Natalie Williams and also president Nikki Fargas. Again, these are all allegations, so it can go either way. Now, if you know about the dynamics of contracts, not just in sports, but really in all business fields or whatever field that you're in, if you're in the sport, if you're a professional athlete, or if you're in the broadcasting business, or any business or any area that you're in involving contracts, it's always contracts go 2 ways. Worker fulfills their end of the bargain. The employer is always supposed to fulfill their end of the bargain as well. Now, according to this lawsuit right here, if a number of benefits that were negotiated in the contract when Hamby got the 2-year extension with the Aces, and some of the benefits included team-provided housing, which was allowed for her daughter Amaya to stay in during road games, as well as paid tuition for her daughter's private school. Those are legitimate things. I think any time that you negotiate those things in a contract, and if the employee or the worker is fulfilling their end of the bargain, it's supposed to be commonplace. It's supposed to be right for the employer to fulfill their end of the bargain as well. It looks as though that the Aces have not done that. But again, this is a lawsuit. These are allegations. It can go either way. But we've seen and we've read stories about the WNBA and its treatment with bullying and harassment and intimidation just being at an all-time high. Specifically, if you talk about a former player in Candace Wiggins. Now, let me just be the first to say this has nothing to do with homophobia or anything like that, but Candace Wiggins has been out in the public, and she has made comments for decades about, during her time playing in the WNBA, she said that the league is 98% LGBTQ+. She was bullied for being heterosexual, and she had an unpleasant experience being in the WNBA. And right around this time that has happened with Dearica Hamby, Skylar Diggins-Smith recently, Skylar was on maternity leave. After Skylar had her child, she was not allowed to access any of the Phoenix Mercury training facilities, such as getting basketball workouts on the practice court, utilizing the weight room, not getting access to team meals, having a close contact with the chef. She was ostracized. She was kept away from utilizing those facilities, even though she was still under contract with the Phoenix Mercury. Now she's a member of the Seattle Storm. This is her first year with Seattle. So this lawsuit comes at such a horrible time for the WNBA. And I've said it before and I've said it again. If you've listened to the show or this is your first time tuning into this program, I have followed the WNBA for a long time, since the league first got into existence in 1997, just off the heels of the women's Olympic basketball team winning the gold medal in 1996. The league, talented from an athletic standpoint, the players are really good, but the league has never made a profit. One of the things the WNBA has suffered from and continues to suffer from is business savvy and a lack of promotion. The athletes are there, but they've never had the ability to turn that corner. They've never had the ability to become a sustainable business model. Let's fast forward to April of 2024. The number one overall pick in this year's WNBA draft, CaitlinClark. Caitlin, we know about what she did for women's college basketball, taking it to the next level. Her, along with Angel Reese, captivated the hearts of everybody, ones that never would pay much attention to not just women's college basketball, let alone women's basketball, and ignited a new flair, ignited a new excitement, I should say. Ignited not only a new excitement, but also ignited a new flair and a new interest in women's basketball. So you would think that the WNBA would take full advantage of that. Well, they have not taken advantage of that. I'll get more into detail and all of those things in just a little bit. But what I'm getting back as far as Dearica is concerned is that this is happening at a worse time because the league is still trying to grow. The league has not made any money, but there are more eyes on the league than ever before. More attention is being paid to the league more than ever before. So you have CaitlinClark, Angel Reese, Camila Cardoso, Cameron Brink, Rakia Jackson in the 2024 WNBA draft class that's coming in, and hopefully to ignite and to blast off a new era in the WNBA. But we've seen the treatment of Caitlin, and then we've heard the stories with Skylar Diggins-Smith and the drama she went through with the Phoenix Mercury, and now Dearica Hamby with this new federal lawsuit that she's filed against the Aces and the WNBA. This is just not looking good. And then on top of that, the WNBA, with help from the NBA, got their new media rights deal, which is expected to kick in 2026. So this is just, it's not good right now. And I don't know what's going to come of this. And again, these are allegations. Nothing is etched in stone, but we do have the full link to the lawsuit, which is available in the description box. But if you know about Dearica Hamby, you know Dearica has been one of the premier players since she's been playing in the W, and has spoken very positively about CaitlinClark. She's been one of the few players in the W that has spoken very highly about CaitlinClark, which is very rare and very refreshing because Caitlin has received such poor treatment since she's been in the W, and something that was supposed to ignite a fire and to blast off the WNBA to the next level, it's not looking good. And it's certainly with this new lawsuit, with this developing story with Dearica Hamby, it's just not good at all. So again, in a nutshell, just to kind of recap this first storyline, Dearica Hamby, forward for the Los Angeles Sparks, has now launched a federal lawsuit against the Las Vegas Aces, her former team, and the WNBA for workplace harassment that includes intimidation and retaliation in response to her getting pregnant last year. And then also in the lawsuit, it states about it. In the lawsuit, it's alleged that benefits were not honored in the contract that she had with the Aces. Benefits were taken away, such as A team provided housing, also tuition for her daughter's paid tuition for her daughter's private school. Also, there was reports of in the lawsuit, it says that Hamby and her former head coach, Becky Hammond, had conversations. Hammond questioned her commitment and dedication to the team, but in the lawsuit, it says that Hamby maintained her shape. She maintained being in basketball shape while pregnant with doing basketball workouts, Pilates, and calisthenics. So this can change a lot for the W. And I don't know. It just, when you think they're trying to just kind of slightly get over the hump, it's not looking good. And again, this is at a bad time, again, with the whole CaitlinClark effect and the new media rights deal that's going to kick in 2026. The Olympics have just passed, and now you've got this. It's just in a nutshell, it's not looking good. It's just chaos and it's confusion, and it's getting worse. It's just getting worse. And again, do you want to read the full lawsuit or read most of it? It is available exclusively in the description box. You can click on the link. All right, so my next storyline is going to be the Olympics, and specifically 3x3. So Dearica Hamby, on the heels of the federal lawsuit against the WNBA and the Las Vegas Aces, Dearica, a little bit on the bright side here, was a member of the United States women's 3x3 Olympic basketball team that included Sierra Burdick, Ryan Howard, and Haley Van Lith. Now, you could tell the team, considering the circumstances, they just never got it together. And rightfully, I think a lot of that had to do with the injury to Cameron Brink. Dearica was Cameron Brink's replacement, but Cameron, is out for the year, tearing her ACL in a game against the Minnesota Lynx. So Dearica comes in as a replacement for Cameron Brink, and this 3x3 team in this Olympics, despite the circumstances, I know it was a last-minute thing, but they just never seemed together. However, they were able to put it together and just do enough to win the bronze medal. So congratulations to Sierra Burdick, Dearica Hamby, Ryan Howard, and Haley Van Lith. And if you look at the team from the last Olympics in Tokyo, that team was phenomenal in the women's 3x3 with Stephanie Dolson, Alicia Gray, Kelsey Plum, and Jackie Young. But this team, this Olympic team in Paris, you can tell that the connection, they were trying to find it. It took them a while, and by the time they got it, it was a little bit too late. But they hold off to win the bronze medal, and so congratulations again to the team of Burdick, Hamby, Howard, and Van Lith for winning the 3x3 bronze medal for the United States women's Olympic basketball team in 3x3 basketball. I got to tell you, if you missed 3x3 basketball, it has become one of my favorite Olympic events. And again, the Olympics, the International Olympic Committee, good move on them for introducing 3x3 basketball. Again, for those of you like myself that grew up playing a lot of basketball, and especially whether it be in the backyard or in the park or in the schoolyard, 3x3, 3-on-3, just your classic half-court game, fast-paced. You play until the first team or the first player that hits 21 wins the game. That's simple. And they just brought it from the streets, or should I say from the playground, to the Olympics. And smart move on the International Olympic Committee for making that happen. So, again, congratulations to Sierra Burdick, Dearica Hamby, Ryan Howard, and Haley Van Lith for winning the bronze medal at the Summer Olympics in the women's 3x3 basketball championship. And for my last storyline, we're going to stay with the Olympics, 5-on-5. You talk about a game of many storylines. The United States and France teams were nervous. Both teams struggled. Both teams were trying to find their stride, a lot of turnovers. But that fourth quarter and towards the end of the game was a nail-biter. There's a lot of takeaways that I have from that gold medal game. I'm going to start off talking about Gabby Williams. Gabby Williams has played in the WNBA. Her last WNBA team was the Seattle Storm. Now, you're probably wondering, hey, Ed, well, how come Gabby is currently not playing in the WNBA? Well, I'm glad you asked. Gabby Williams is currently not playing in the WNBA due to the current collective bargaining agreement, and there's a stipulation in the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, where if a player is playing overseas, what happens is this. If a player is playing overseas and they cannot make it to the team training camp within a certain deadline, they will be suspended for that year. So I believe the rule is called the international players exemption, where as if a player is playing, say, in France, or if a player is playing in Israel, or if a player is playing, as I stated, overseas, and if a team has a certain date where they're going to be starting training camp, and if the player cannot get back to the States in enough time, considered a missed training camp, and they'll be suspended from the WNBA for that regular season. So Gabby Williams, currently not playing in the WNBA, not only due to the international player rule or the overseas rule, but most importantly, she's been open about wanting to play in the WNBA, but she says the money's not right, and the rule in the collective bargaining agreement where they don't give players that are playing internationally a chance to come back and wanting to play in the W. So Gabby's been vocal about that for a while, about the rule in the current CBA, and then also, too, the money. She said that the money's not great in the W. She's making more money playing in the French league. And so if you didn't watch that game, that gold medal game, Gabby Williams, took the world by storm. Gabby Williams was a one-woman wrecking crew for Team France. And as time expired in the game, she hit a two-pointer. First of all, she made an amazing shot. Here's the problem. Her foot was on the line. Instead of being behind the line, her foot was on the line. So instead of that, it wound up becoming a two-pointer. Bummer for the French. And luck for the United States. But one of my takeaways from that game was clearly Gabby Williams. Gabby Williams stole the hearts, captivated the hearts of a worldwide audience that was watching the Olympics. Gabby Williams, again, was the one-woman wrecking crew for Team France. And also there were some other heavy hitters as well. I believe her last name is Ayayi. Her last name is Ayayi, and also Maureen Johannes. Maureen had some bright spots as well, but that game was Gabby Williams. Gabby showed up and showed out in a major way in this game. And again, a lot of emotion. If you watched the Olympic Games, you saw the emotion that she had with her foot being on the line and making the two-pointer instead of the three-pointer. And that was a thrilling game. That was one heck of a game. I know they couldn't do it for the host country, but France, they played hard. But it was, that was the Gabby Williams game. It was all about Gabby Williams. Gabby Williams, again, what can you say about her? Just, she showed up, she showed out, she played extremely well, coming up just short. It's very tough. But I'm hoping that they can revisit the collective bargaining agreement, which they're going to have to, and they're going to have to either readjust that rule or get rid of the rule and allowing international players that want to play in the WNBA, give them enough time to come back and play for Seattle or Las Vegas or Los Angeles or New York or Atlanta or Indiana or any of the teams. So, but Gabby Williams, man, she did her thing. She was phenomenal, and kudos to her, man. And again, that game was drama. but in a great way, right? In a great way. So Gabby did her thing. Another takeaway from this game was that the United States, let's keep it real. If you watch that game, the French had the United States number for a huge part of that game. A'ja Wilson got hot late in the game. A'ja got hot late in the game. Breanna Stewart got hot late in the game. But kudos to the French being very alert on their defensive assignments, double teaming. As soon as A'ja would touch the ball, double team. And if A'ja attempted a shot, there were French players in the paint ready to contest a shot or ready to crash the boards and get a rebound. So a takeaway that I got from most of the game was the attentiveness of the defense that the French had on the U.S. As I stated earlier, A'ja and Breanna, they got theirs late in the game. But the French, whoever their coach is, kudos to him because it was a great play. It was a great job that he did, and his assistants as well in terms of defensive assignments on the two, clearly in my opinion, the two best players on that U.S. team with A'ja Wilson and Breanna Stewart. So the French, again, they fell short, dude, because if you watch maybe the last 3 minutes of that game, the thing that did the French in and got them out of a hole that was hard for them to get out of was the turnovers, the defense. They got tired on their defensive assignments, and just the poor shot selection. It was just three-pointer after three-pointer after three-pointer after three-pointer, and miss after miss after miss after miss. And once the French got tired on defense, uncoordinated, with the turnovers, and then on top of that, a lot of unnecessary shots, a lot of three-pointers that were taken were not necessary. The U.S. held on, and they did enough with A'ja Wilson and Breanna Stewart. And also, let's not forget about KahleahCopper. KahleahCopper went off in those last 3 minutes of the game. KahleahCopper was just like a one-woman wrecking crew in the last 3 minutes for the U.S. A'ja and Breanna, they did what they did in the closing minutes, but KahleahCopper she really saved the day for the U.S. women because it was getting close. And again, I think the French got tired. They started taking unnecessary shots. KahleahCopper, if you know about her, is just a straight dog. She's just a straight savage on that court. And she was able to will Team USA to victory in a very close game, in a very exciting game. And it goes to show you that the rest of the world has caught up. Team USA, for the moment, they're still dominant. Was this their best team? I don't think this was their best team. Chelsea, injured. When she did play, points. Diana Taurasi, congratulations to you, won another gold medal, but you were hurt. And your last several games, you scored no points. Napheesa Collier. Napheesa was coming off of an injury. You know, she was so-so in the Olympics. Brittany Griner, God bless Brittany, right? But Brittany coming off of an injury. And when Brittany did play in the gold medal game, I have to give it up again. The French defense really, they had her number. They double-teamed her. I was thinking, okay, if Brittany, even in double teams, triple teams, I think she's going to get these shots. She didn't knock down all of her shots, and she even got out-rebounded. So I don't think this was the U.S.'s best team. This was an effective team, and again, they got by with contributions from A'ja Wilson and Breanna Stewart, and especially KahleahCopper in those last about over 3 minutes left in that contest. And for my last storyline is going to be what if. So what if CaitlinClark was on the team? Now, again, congratulations to Team USA for winning another gold medal. But I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This could have been the dream team moment. This could have been Barcelona 1992. Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, the rest of the dream team, taking the NBA from an American sport to making it a global phenomenon. this could have been something really special. I mean, the gold medal game was special, considering France really taking it to the United States, but this could have been immensely special with having CaitlinClark on the team. Now, there have been numbers that have come out as far as TV ratings are concerned. I know NBC, the ratings were not good in terms of really the qualifying games and the semifinal game. And then also, too, the attendance for United USA women's basketball, the attendance was very low. The majority of the people that showed up to the Team USA women's basketball games were fans from other countries that were going up against the U.S., and this was an opportunity that was missed. Here's something that was posted on X recently. CaitlinClark played in 3 college basketball games this year. Those 3 games that Caitlin played in this year had a higher viewership than the Olympic gold medal match that Team USA had against France. Let me explain the numbers to you. 12.3 million viewers watched this year's NCAA Women's College Basketball National Championship game. It was 12.3 million viewers watched LSU and Iowa, which was last year's NCAA, this was LSU and Iowa. This was the Elite 8 game. I stand corrected. In this year's 2024 NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament, 12.3 million viewers watched the Elite 8 game between the LSU Lady Tigers and the Iowa Hawkeyes. This was the rematch with CaitlinClark and Angel Reese. 12.3 million viewers watched that game on ESPN. The most watched women's basketball game so far on record. All right, let's move over now to some more numbers. This year's women's national championship game that was broadcast on ABC, Iowa, South Carolina, 18.9 million viewers, breaking another record. How about the Final Four game, UConn and Iowa on ESPN? 14.4 million viewers. Aaliyah Edwards, Paige Beckers, UConn, Gino going up against CaitlinClark, Gabby Marshall, Kate Martin, Hannah Stolke. The list goes on. No longer she's the head coach, but when Coach Lisa Bluter, head coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes, that game reached 14.4 million viewers on ESPN. So 18.9 million watched this year's national championship game, Iowa, South Carolina. 14.4 million viewers watched UConn and Iowa. And then 12.3 million viewers watched LSU and Iowa in the Elite 8 game. So CaitlinClark played in those 3 games this year, and they had a higher viewership than the Olympic gold medal match. Now, I'm going to read you some numbers that have been released in terms of Olympic Team USA women's Olympic gold medal games from the last 5 Olympics. 2008 in Beijing, 5.9 million viewers. 2012 in London, 10.2 million viewers. 2016 in Rio, 8.1 million viewers. 2021 in Tokyo, fortunately that was the COVID Olympics, 7.9 million viewers. Get this, you ready? 2024, Paris, 7.8 million viewers. However, it peaked at 10.9 million, and that peak hour, the peak half hour came between the 11 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That time frame between 11 and 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that last half hour, that was the fourth quarter. And that was also with KahleahCopper taking over the game for Team USA. And, of course, GabbyWilliams, unfortunately, making the shot, but her foot being on the line. So 7.8 million viewers, but they peaked at 10.9 million, but that was only for the last half hour of that game between Team USA and France. So 2008 in Beijing, 5.9 million viewers. 2012 in London, 10.2 million viewers. 2016 in Rio, 8.1 million viewers. Tokyo 2021, 7.9 million viewers. 2024 in Paris, 7.8 million viewers. This year's Olympics had the lowest gold medal viewership since 2008 in Beijing, which had 5.9. So what if CaitlinClark was on that team? Women, not just the WNBA, but women's basketball, they missed it. They missed their mark. They missed the opportunity. Who knows what's going to happen 4 years in Los Angeles in 2028? We don't know what 4 years is going to bring. It's a long time. But they had to work with the opportunity that they had, and they didn't. 7.8 million viewers for the gold medal game for the 2024 Olympics in Paris. The lowest gold medal viewership since 2008 in Beijing. They missed it. They got short-sighted. And this could have been their dream team. Barcelona, 1992, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley. They missed that moment. And on the heels of signing a media rights deal, you would think that, I don't know. If you want to go to, and much respect to that whole team, really, much respect to the whole Team USA, much respect to that whole team, but the majority of America and the majority of the world does not know those players. They know who CaitlinClark is. We'll have to see what happens in L.A. in 2028, but in the meantime, I don't know. There's just a lot of what-ifs when it comes to this. Congratulations to Team USA. Not a pretty victory, but a win is a win, is a win, is a win, and you take it. And they got the gold medal. And Dawn Staley, who is on the Olympic Committee, she later admitted that Caitlin, had she been playing the way what happened was she said that when they did the Olympic selections in the early part of June, she said Caitlin was playing decent, but it wasn't up to the standards that they were looking for Team USA. But immediately after team selection, she said that Caitlin stepped up her game and was playing lights out. She said maybe had the Team USA selections had been done a little bit later, Caitlin would have been in a strong consideration to be on Team USA. Bottom line, this is how I look at it. I look at it like this. Bad for Team USA, but this is going to be really good for CaitlinClark and the Indiana Fever. As we come out of the Olympic break and get back to the business at hand, there's going to be even more of a flare. I know we're in the midst of Major League Baseball. Their regular season is still intact, but we're marching closer into the playoffs, and then NFL preseason has kicked off, and then college football is going to be kicking off. But, hey, CaitlinClark, more eyes are going to be focused not only on Caitlin, but the Indiana Fever. More people will really tune into Indiana Fever games since Team USA missed out on the marketing opportunity for people that wanted to see Caitlin in the Olympics. She was not on the team. I think this is going to create even a fever pitch for Caitlin and the Indiana Fever for people to watch those games. And so let this be a lesson learned. WNBA continue to be short-sighted. And, again, this is on the heels of the media rights deal. The game's got to grow. And you're not showing growth. And we shall see, because I know the second half of the year is going to be very interesting. But it's just, again, another reminder of the CaitlinClark effect. She played in 3 college basketball games this year, and all of those games had higher television viewership than this year's Olympic gold medal match in Paris between Team USA and France. Just something to think about right there. All right, so as promised, I will give you a recap of what went down with the women in this year's Summer Olympics with Team USA, with the 5-on-5 and the 3x3 tournament. And definitely, again, 3x3, their best. They didn't play the best. Again, they were going through changes with the whole roster. Cameron Brink replacing Dearica Hamby. And so the U.S. were just trying to find their stride. And, it took a while, but it was enough for them to get the bronze medal. So we had the bronze medal game between the United States and Canada. Close game, but the U.S. would win by 3, 16-13. The leading scorer for the U.S. was Haley Van Lith. She finished with 6 points. Ryan Howard finished with 4 points, and Dearica Hamby and Sierra Burdick finished with 3 points. So the final score in the bronze medal game between Canada and USA, the United States would win 16-13. So congratulations again to Team USA for winning the gold medal in the for winning the bronze medal in the 3x3 tournament. And we move along now to the women's 5-on-5. And what a thrilling game it was. But the U.S. hold on to beat France 67-66. And for the U.S., this game, Asia Wilson put up 21 points. Kelsey Plum finished with 12 points. Brianna Stewart had 8 points. But this game was about KahleahCopper. 12 points, including those last 3 minutes in the game. Phenomenal. Just, what can you say? Kalia, she showed up when it mattered the most. In those last 3 minutes and some change, she showed up and she showed out, helping the U.S. win a close game in the gold medal game. And how about Gabby Williams? What a performance she had. Coming up short, finishing with 19 points. And also contributing for France despite the loss, Valériane Ayayi finished with 19 points. Marine Fatou finished with 8 points. Also, Maureen Johannes finished with 9 points. And Myriam Badian finished with 8 points. But again, the final score was Team USA 67, France 66. Then Team USA wins the gold medal. France will go on to win the silver. And Australia winds up winning the bronze. And this is a lesson that needs to be learned for Team USA. The rest of the world has caught up to us now. Let's just call it for what it is. The rest of the world has caught up thanks to technology, thanks to the internet, social media. Women or just young people in other countries with the access to internet and social media, they're catching up to us, and they've caught up with us. And you can see just in the level of the competition that we saw, both not just in the women's but in the men's action as well. They are catching up, and they're figuring out, we can do these moves, we can do that move, we can pick up our speed, we can learn how to shoot shots. This is a wake-up call for the U.S. and know that the rest of the world is catching up with us, and they've caught up with us. And I think the action is just going to get intense going forward. The action was good before, and it's good. It was good before, and it's going to continue to get better. Let this be a lesson learned for Team USA that countries, international play, they've caught up, and they're catching up, and the game is getting better day in and day out, year in and year out. And let this be a wake-up call to Team USA for the next Olympic selection, not just with 5-on-5, even with 3x3. The world's caught up with us Americans, and we got to get it together, or we'll be in trouble trying to figure it out and have to maybe do another overhaul not just with players, even with coaching staff as well, to make sure we stay on top of our game as Americans and make sure that we stay on par as the rest of the world catches up with us. So before we give you the league leaders in the standings in the association, first of all, the first half of the year was a lot happened. A whole lot happened, just with a record-breaking All-Star game and a fun All-Star game. Dearica Hamby becoming the All-Star game MVP. Also, we saw CaitlinClark, Angel Reese being on the same team. It was a fun first half, and I think this second half is really going to be something special, especially with a certain person that was not on a team. I think that's going to whet the appetite, not just for CaitlinClark, but I think also most importantly for the Indiana Fever going forward. And it should be interesting on what's going to be coming up in this second half of the regular season in the WNBA. All right, it's time now for the league leaders as we go into the second half of the year. Let's start off with points per game. The leading scorer in the W is A'ja Wilson from the Las Vegas Aces. She's averaging 27.2 points per game. Coming in at number 2, KahleahCopper from the Phoenix Mercury. Dearica Hamby is third from the Dallas Wings. In fourth, Jewel Lloyd from the Seattle Storm. And in fifth, Napheesa Collier from the Minnesota Lynx. Next category is rebounds per game. At number 1, A'ja Wilson. She's averaging 12 rebounds per game. At number 2, Angel Reese from the Chicago Sky. And then in third, we have Napheesa Collier. Followed in fourth, Dearica Hamby from the Los Angeles Sparks. And in fifth, Alyssa Thomas from the Connecticut Sun. Next category is going to be assists per game. At number 1, CaitlinClark from the Indiana Fever. She's averaging over 8 assists per game. At number 2, Alyssa Thomas. At number 3, Natasha Cloud from the Phoenix Mercury. At number 4, Skylar Diggins-Smith from the Seattle Storm. And in fifth, Sabrina Ionescu from the New York Liberty. Next category is going to be blocks per game. At number 1, A'ja Wilson. She's averaging close to 3 blocks per game. At number 2, from the Seattle Storm, Ezi Magbagor. At number Cameron Brink from the Los Angeles Sparks. Coming in at fourth, Elena Smith from the Minnesota Lynx. And in fifth, Aaliyah Boston from the Indiana Fever. Next category that we have is going to be field goal percentage. Coming in at number 1 from the Dallas Wings, Tiara McCowan. She is shooting 56% from the field. Coming in at number 2 from the Phoenix Mercury, Brittany Griner. At number 3, Jonquel Jones from the New York Liberty. Coming in at fourth, Aaliyah Boston from the Indiana Fever. And in fifth, Brianna Jones from the Connecticut Sun. Next category is going to be free throw percentage. At number 1, Dana Evans from the Chicago Sky. She's shooting 97% from the free throw line. At number 2, Kayla McBride from the Minnesota Lynx. At number 3, Sabrina Ionescu from the New York Liberty. Coming in at fourth, Dearica Hamby from the Dallas Wings. And in fifth, Ezi Magbagor from the Seattle Storm. Next category is going to be three-point percentage. Coming in at number 1, Odyssey Sims from the Dallas Wings. She's shooting 50% from three-point range. At number 2, Stephanie Dolson from the Washington Mystics. She's shooting 48% from beyond the arc. Coming in third, Cecilia Zandalicini from the Minnesota Lynx. She's shooting 46% from three-point range. Also, her teammates come in fourth and in fifth, Elena Smith and Bridget Carlton. The last category that we have is minutes played. At number 1, averaging just over 38 minutes per game from the Dallas Wings, Dearica Hamby. At number 2, Dearica Hamby from the Los Angeles Sparks. Coming in third, CaitlinClark from the Indiana Fever. In fourth, Kelsey Plum from the Las Vegas Aces. And in fifth, Napheesa Collier from the Minnesota Lynx. And that takes care of your current league leaders in the W as we march into the second half of the WNBA season. All right, time for the current standings. In first place, the New York Liberty. They have a record of 21 wins and 4 losses. Coming in at number 2, the Connecticut Sun with a record of 18-6. In third, the Minnesota Lynx. They have a record of 17-8. Coming in at fourth, the Seattle Storm. They also have a record of 17-8. The Las Vegas Aces. They have a record of 16-8. Coming in sixth, the Phoenix Mercury. Their record is 13-12. Coming in seventh, the Indiana Fever. They have a record of 11-15. Coming in eighth, the Chicago Sky. They have a record of 10-14. Coming in ninth place, the Atlanta Dream. They have a record of 17 and the Atlanta Dream has a record of 7-17. Coming in 10th, the Los Angeles Sparks. Their record is 6-18. Coming in 11th, the Washington Mystics. They have a record of 6-19. And in last place are the Dallas Wings. They have a record of 6-19. All right, now it's time to give you the week of upcoming games that are going to be coming as we begin the second half of the WNBA regular season. Thursday, August the 15th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, we have the Phoenix Mercury going up against the Chicago Sky, and you can watch that game on Amazon Prime Video. And we have the Washington Mystics going up against the Minnesota Lynx. Tip-off time will be the same as well, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. You can watch that game on League Pass. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Pacific, the New York Liberty take on the Los Angeles Sparks. You can watch that game on ESPN. On Friday, August the 16th, there's going to be a doubleheader on Ion and League Pass. Tip-off is at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central. It'll be the Seattle Storm going up against the Atlanta Dream. Or you can watch the Phoenix Mercury going up against CaitlinClark and the Indiana Fever. Depending on what region you live in, again, the tip-off is going to be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central on Ion and League Pass. And again, it'll be either you can get Seattle versus Atlanta, or you can get Phoenix versus Indiana, depending on what market and what region you live in. And then at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Central, the Connecticut Sun take on the Dallas Wings, and you can watch that game on Ion and League Pass. On Saturday, August the 17th, tip-off at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central Time between the Minnesota Lynx and the Washington Mystics. You can watch that game on CBS. And then at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Pacific, the New York Liberty will square off against the Las Vegas Aces. You can watch that game on CBS. And then at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Pacific, the Chicago Sky will square off against the Los Angeles Sparks. And you can watch that game on League Pass. And then on Sunday, August the 18th, we have tip-off at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, with the Connecticut Sun going up against the Atlanta Hawks. You can watch that game on League Pass. And then tip-off is at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Central, with the Seattle Storm going up against CaitlinClark and the Indiana Fever. You can watch that game on ABC. And then tip-off is at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Pacific, where we have the Los Angeles Sparks going up against the Las Vegas Aces. You can watch that game on NBA TV and League Pass. And then tip-off is at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Pacific, with the Chicago Sky going up against the Phoenix Mercury. You can watch that game on League Pass. And there you go. That's the week's upcoming games as we get ready for the second half of the WNBA season. And also, we talked about Dearica Hamby earlier. Congratulations not only to Dearica for winning the bronze medal for the women's 3x3 Olympic basketball team for Team USA, but she will be joining the Unrivaled League. That's a new semi-pro basketball league created by Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart. Dearica made it official on Instagram and saying that she will be playing for the Unrivaled League starting in January. And certainly the league will be playing in Miami. It's going to last 7 weeks. But again, congratulations to Dearica. Again, the circumstances going on with the lawsuit. However, again, Dearica can celebrate a little bit with the bronze medal, Team USA 3x3, and will be joining the Unrivaled League, which is led by Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart. They're expected to tip off in January. And that's going to do it for another exciting edition of the program. Until next time, everybody, I'm Ed Robinson saying so long, and you take care. Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.